Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new episode. This would be episode number 7 of our Luculent Media Filemaker series. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working a lot on doing that inventory thing we were doing the last time, if you guys remember. And so right now I am on my base inventory page that we should have put together. So base underscore inventory, that's where I'm at currently. And let me show you a couple of really cool things that I did while you guys were away. Now, I try not to do anything, but I do get a bit excited. Yoshimitsu, how are you? It's so good to see you. Thanks for joining me, Yoshimitsu. I do appreciate that so very much. So one of the things that I did do is, if you go into edit your layout, is I took the sum value. So the value that we put in our sub summary part that was trailing, the one that's on the bottom. If you guys remember, we put this in and we went ahead and we put a sum value, and then we put another one on this side, and it was a sum value wholesale. Well, the cool thing is, if you go into your field picker and you grab those, and here they are right here, the sum value, you grab them and you put them into your baseline, into the footer of your solution or your layout. What happens is it will total everything instead of just part of them. So it will total everything. So if you exit the layout, you will see that here we have the products, this value, and I put these red lines in there so you guys can kind of see the separation of them. So this one is the candies, this one is the drinks, and this one is the pet supplies. So the value of this one is $120 or $121.70. The value of this one is $24. The value of this one is $934.50. But the total value of all of this stuff is now at $1,080.20. So if you add all of these values together, that's what this does. So if you were to go back into the layout or edit the layout, you see they're identical. Sum value and sum value. They're the same box. They're just in different locations. So by changing the location of the box, we basically are duplicating and then just grabbing it from here, sum value, and dropping it into your footer. It will total everything for you. So now you can say in your store, I have $1,080 in total product retail value, and what the wholesale value is at a glance. All you got to do is go to the bottom of the list and find it. Now, if you want to add the red lines, such as I did, that's perfectly fine. I can show you how to do that. It's very, very simple. You just basically go, while you're in edit layout mode, you need to go up here to this top thing, and there you'll see there's the pointer arrow, the text tool, and then a line tool. If you grab the line tool, and this is very much like what we did before, if you guys remember, we did this already once, is you can grab the line tool and you can create a line anywhere that you want to, and that line can be at any angle that you want it to be, and you can change the color right here in this top box. So if I wanted that color to be a bright yellow, I could do so. Click on it and then click off, and then edit the layout or exit the layout, and there it is. The line is there. And if I go back to edit the layout, and the cool thing is if you adjust it, so while we're adjusting it, Marad, how is it going? It's so good to see you. Where do you add what we call RA, or received on account, deposits made on account? Okay, so if you want to do, that is going to be a much later episode, and how we're going to do that is, I'll get to your answer, I'll get to your question with an answer in just a minute. So just give me just a minute, watch for just a few minutes. I promise you I will answer that question right after I get done with this line thing. So if you grab the line and you grab this little end part of the line and you move it, all of a sudden this little box appears. And you're like, what does that box mean? And it says height. So width and then height is on the bottom. If you can get the height to 0, if you go to 0, see if I can do it. I might have to make it just a little bit longer to finally get it to 0, but so if you get it to 0, then it is perfectly, my mouse is like really super touchy, just so you guys know. So there is 0. If you get it to 0, it is completely flat. It is perfectly in line with everything else. And then you can just grab the line and move it wherever your heart desires. So if you wanted that line to be down here, you could put it down here. You could put your things in a box, as we've seen. I currently don't need the line, but I did put these lines in, and I do like them. They kind of look pretty cool. I put these red lines in just to denote the different spaces of the layout as we did it. And as you can see, it does makes it look pretty cool. Makes it look pretty cool. So now, Mahrad, so to hold shift, yes, holding shift will actually work for you if you are doing a line that is for sure. So it does give you a finer reaction. I tend to just do this like as I go. So now we'll get to Mahrad's Bastion or Bastans. We will get to his answer. So where do you add what we call received on account? So that would be a file that we would create. So what you would do is if you were in your invoice section, and here we have like cash, credit, split pay. This is where people are actually paying their stuff. And in this button, more, you would need to create an account, an individual account for your individual people. And how you would do that, or how you could do that, is you could go to, let me think of a great way to be able to do this. You could actually, no, we haven't done it because we're still in the very beginning part of it. Tech, how are you doing? It's so good to see you. Murdad. Oh, Murdad. Okay. Murdad. Okay, that is a great name. That's very interesting. So, Murdad, what you would need to do is you would need to create a list of people like what we just saw. If you go to the, in this particular thing, it's called base inventory. But if you go to the base inventory page and you have your people, you would create something, you would create this is what you would do. You would create this. And then you would have, instead of this being the name of the product, it would be the person's name, okay? And then and if you watch the rest of the videos, you'll find out how to do it, but it's pretty simple, is we'll make the person's name a hyperlink that will go specifically to their account. Or you could just have these, and you could say, one of these would be a date instead of a sale price. So on this date, he paid this much money, like retail price. He paid $25 on his account, and then over here, the value of the account would be, and I think the list view is the best way to do it. And you can have separated pages for every single person on your system. And as a matter of fact, we're kind of getting to that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to our, if you guys remember, we were doing an inventory modifier page. So Murdad, what that is it's, right now it looks like this. It's pretty bland. It's pretty, blah, 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 whatever the case might be. And it's called the inventory modifier. This is a page that's based off of the inventory page. So in your case, it would be accounts receivable, or AR. So instead of RA, you kind of do it RA, but we do it here in America as AR, accounts receivable. So those would be outstanding accounts where money would be coming in. In this particular case, what I would do is you could put in a container field, and you would have the people in the container field. You could add a portal into this, and then you could have notes when they paid and all that stuff, and literally just keep track of every single transaction so that you would know on this day this guy paid $25 on the account and then the total sum. So what you would literally do is, like on your invoice page, the page I was just on would look like this. And here, if we exit the layout, there would be, like, you have product name, that would be the person's name, or that would be the date, and then how much that person paid in the price category, and how much is left here. And that would be a simple thing as to going in, manage your database, and changing those things as to what they do. That would be my in my belief, that would be the perfect thing to do, is create a page that looks very much like this and go from there. So, but what we are going to do is let's get off of here. Let's get out. So we have not yet created anything like that, but we're going to go to the inventory modifier, and these are things that we want to do. Now, we are going to need to add some things to our database today, just so you know, because we don't want people messing around with it. This is something that's pretty cool, because what we're going to use this page for is doing inventory checks, so that when your clerk is walking around in your store, or they're in the back office, or they're in the inventory stock room, it can go through and do a physical count of the inventory for you, and then you will know what you have, and you'll be able to find it from this page. So if they have either the SKU number or the barcode number, or they have the product ID number, and we can actually marry the product ID and the barcode so that one relates to the other one at a regular basis. So Tech, it's so good to see you. I'm so glad that you actually could make it today. I'm so excited. I normally don't have a lot of people watching me, but well, I mean, they do. They watch me, but they usually don't watch my live stream part. So it's a little early in the morning for most of them to actually be here. So what we're going to do is we're going to need some things. Thank you. Always watch offline due to time difference. Exactly, Murdad. And that's what most people do as well. So, but I sure appreciate you being here. It means a great deal to me that you are here. So what we're going to do is, here we have this top one is our product code that we're going to use for our inventory, and we're going to use that so that when we put our buttons together, that we can create a sale via this number and not necessarily the SKU number. But we're also going to create an envelope for the SKU number as well. Now, if we go into edit our layout and we go into manage the database, so this is the database for our page, the page that we're on. That's the cool thing, is when you go into manage database, from the page that you're working on, it'll automatically bring up the information that was on that page. And as you can see, we added the sum value, the summary of the products wholesale, the summary of the value of the wholesale products, and then I also added a SKU numbers or SKU numbers, and that's a text. So go ahead and add that into your system now while I take a quick drink of coffee. It's just SKU underscore numbers. Just add that into the system. Now, you should have that done. What we're going to do now is we're going to add a bunch of new fields, and it might get complicated, but that's okay. You guys will do it without problem. Don't worry about it. Okay? So what we're going to do is the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to type in add underscore, and we'll do inventory. And it can be a text, but I like mine to be a number, so Control N, and we will create it. And then we're going to need one that does find. So we'll do find underscore inventory, or just INV is fine. And that is you can have that as a number or a text. Either one is just fine. I think it might be better if we do text in this case. No, let's do a number. Let's do a number on this one, and then we'll create this again, but we're going to put a 2 at the end of it, and that one will be a text. And we'll create that one. And now we're going to need a price box, a price change box, or whatever. So we're going to type in price underscore change. And that will be a number box, because no prices are not numbers, right? They're all numbers, so we'll create that. And we'll say okay with that for right now because that's kind of the way that we do things around here. We just build them as we get to them. So in the field picker box, we're going to go down and we're going to do our SKU numbers, which are SKU numbers. We're going to bring that out because we want that to be right in line with our product ID. And what that does is it allows us to add a SKU number to the system as well, so that we can pair the product ID with the SKU numbers and either find the SKU number from there or find the value of that. So, and we will do our add inventory. Our add inventory we're going to put on our quantity line because we don't want to be able to change the quantity unless we do that with this button. So we want to be able to have people come in, say, all right, well, I need to add 10 to there, or I need to add 5 to there, or I need to add something to there, and then make that happen, make everything kind of go together. And then we'll put our find inventory button down here, our find inventory 1 and our find inventory 2. And our price change box we're just going to throw out here wherever we want to. Now, at first, this may look kind of confusing because it is kind of confusing. There's a whole lot of stuff going on this page. But one of the things that we're going to do is we do have an execute button, so we're going to use that execute button for what we want it to do. And that is so that if you come in and you want to add either the product ID number, let's say you're on this page and you're doing inventory, you can either put in the product ID number or you can scan it and you can put in a SKU number and then perform the find with the execute button. And then it will just take you to that page. Is it starting to make a little better sense to everybody as we get farther into this? Now I do want to make these boxes bigger because I'm all about making them bigger as always. And I'm going to run an 18 as a base for all of these boxes. And so I'm just running around and I'm making the changes to 18 for all the boxes. And if you press a button and you hold shift button, it'll let you just grab all of the boxes. You can just click on all of the boxes if you want to. And then you can change them all to 18. Voila! See how easy that was? That was so easy it's not even funny. So our minimum quantity button. So now we're going to start making changes to where everything is located so that hopefully this will make a lot more sense. So our very minimum, this is our minimum quantity button. I'm just going to move it out of the way for right now. And this is the total quantity. This is in stock. So we're going to go ahead and move this over here. Find a good place to put it. And now I'm going to add the in stock. And the little number. And now if I bring this up, I'm going to put it right in line with that. So that's how much we actually have in stock. And then this one, even though it says add inventory, we need to make it so that we can adjust the inventory with that button. But I find it easier to do, you can do an actual count button. I'm just thinking I'm going with the gears in my mind are just going like crazy because I'm thinking if we add a box that, because this box, what it's going to do is it's basically just going to add to your inventory. So it'll add to the total quantity. That's what I'm looking for. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run, let me get this box. I'm going to move this box over here, even Steven with that box. And this I'm going to change to, I'm actually just going to change that to add amount. That way it doesn't get confusing and we can keep it all in line. So now this box will have a script trigger. And the script trigger will be that you add this amount to, and as a matter of fact, let's just do it while we're doing it. Let's just do it while we're doing it. So if we grab this box and we double click on it, cancel. I don't know why I just did that. I meant to right click on it. So we'll conditional formatting or set script trigger. So if we set a script trigger, and we don't want to do, what we want to do is on object exit. So if we click off of it, that button, that it will perform a script, right? And so what I want to do is, I don't know why it didn't light up, but that's okay. I want to add a new one. And the new script that I'm going to add, and I apologize because it just came all the way the heck over there, but we're going to change it. We're going to add, this one is add quantities, and we'll do INV at the end so we know that it is inventory. And now I got to bring in my script over here, my script window, so that we can actually create the script window. So the very first thing that we need to do is we need to tell it that what we want it to do is we want it to take that number that's in that box, right? So what are we going to do? We're going to set variable. Oh, actually, there it is. Set variable. Let's delete that. Set variable, and the variable that we're going to set is in this field, and we're going to call this amount, and I'm not going to capitalize any of it, just going to leave it all the same. And it's going to be and we're in the wholesale price, so this one will be add inventory. And we'll say OK. Now what we want it to do, I click that OK. Now what we want it to do is we want it to clear the field. So we'll just tell it to set the field, and the specified field will be the field that we're actually in, which is add inventory. And what we want it to do is we want it to clear it. So now what it's done is just grab that number, and it's cleared the field, but it still has a hold of the number, right? And now what we want it to do is we want it to set another field. It's a pretty simple process, so I hope I'm not losing you guys, but it's a pretty simple process. What we now want it to do is we want it to set another field. So that other field is going to be the quantity. And that quantity, that's our total number that we have. That's the total number, right? And the calculated result is going to be $amount, and we just typed it in, no spaces, we just left it just like that, $amount, plus, and then we will go to our quantity window, plus quantity, there it is, inventory quantity. And then we can just halt the script. Just type in halt script. And so let's see how this works. Okay, get out of all that stuff. Exit the layout. So here we have 52. So I'm going to click on this window, and I forgot to make it in the center, but that's okay. I'll fix that because I like, you know me, I like them to be in the center. So I want to add, if I add 5, it'll be 57, right? So 5. Let's add 5, and then I will click off of the field. Ta-da! Bingo! It automatically made it 57. So now I want to add. Now the big thing is if you add a negative number, if you add a -5, so -5, it will take it down to 52. So you can add or subtract from this window. Add or subtract from this window. So if you do add a negative number, -5, it will take it away. So I'm going to add 8 and click off of it. And that'll bring it up to 60. Now if I go into the edit layout mode again, it won't let me get off of the window. How interesting is that? That is pretty cool, that it would not let me get out of the window. Okay. So tools, script debugger. And let's put in 5. And we'll click off. So now we actually have the field. So what it does is it says, now we actually have the script. And we have to figure out, why is it stuck on that? Why is it stuck and it won't let me exit that window? Because that's exactly what it's doing. So set field, inventory amount, halt script. Okay. So if we add, let's try to add something else to this. Let's say go to layout. Let's just add a quick go to layout. I'm trying to figure out how to edit the script. Okay, edit the script. And from this one, we'll just tell it to go to layout, original layout. And we could, I guess you could have done like close window or close, or, you know, go to a different field. You could say go to a different field if you wanted to, and that would be just fine. But I think by just saying go to layout, I think we should be okay. And we're going to Control S. Performing this action will halt the current running script before you proceed. Yes, I want to do that. Okay. So I did Control S it to get off of it. Now it should be 65, and it should have let me go somewhere else, and it won't let me modify it. I don't know why. Oh, I am stuck in a weird location. But if I go to menu, it won't even let me do anything. That's amazing. Won't let me edit the layout. Nothing. Okay. So we will have to bring up our script debugger again. This is really cool though that we ended up with this, because if I go to an admin window, see, it won't let me get away from it. It's literally stuck me on this. So what was I looking for? Font size, scripts, tools, script debugger. We'll add 5. We'll click off, and we'll go to this. We'll just keep adding things until we can figure out what is making this happen, which is kind of weird. So instead of going to layout, let's get rid of that because it didn't do us any good. We will go to one thing that we should do is we should have probably showed like a custom dialog to make sure, you know, like cancel would be halt script or whatever, but just in case someone accidentally makes a mistake. So it'd be like set the variable, then set the field, and then you'd have to like show custom dialog, and the dialog would be inventory modification, and then we'll just say please verify counts are accurate. Boop, I better learn how to spell. Accurate before accepting. And the OK will do the commit data, and the cancel will, we can specify what the cancel does, and the cancel, well, I don't know why it just says cancel, but it would be, would literally just want it to halt the script after this. So cancel button, halt. Nope. Huh. I guess we'll just leave the cancel in there and see if we can figure out how to. I normally do not do the cancel button, so commit data, input fields, show input field, will use special character, cancel. Okay. Normally what I do for this is I bring up a double thing and I say if it's if you cancel, then it cancels it. But I'm not sure why it is not canceling. Well, let's see what happens. We'll just add that. And then set the field, inventory modified, and then halt script. And then let's get rid of the halt script for now and do navigation. I think what we'll do is we will go to, we can go to a, let's see, we can go to a field. And the field is, go to a target field. And we'll just go to find inventory field. Wonder if there is an exit script. Calculation will be valid based on current exit script. Let's see what happens there. Control S. We're just messing around now, so. Okay. Cancel. See, it still does it. So what you can do is, what I normally do is I'll create a popover button that will come up and it'll be like, are you sure that that's what you want to do? I mean, it'll ask you a question, and we'll get to that in just a minute so that we have the verification of that particular thing so that we know, because we want to be able to cancel it. We want to be able to say, oh, wait just a minute, we just made a mistake and we are in trouble. So it did actually exit the script. So if we add 5, we can say cancel and it still goes to 5, but it did get us out. So it did fix it so that we can now get away from that window, which is kind of a big deal. I don't know why it had me sticking on that window. But this is kind of how we're doing it. And so now we've got the minimum quantity window. We need to edit the layout. We need to bring that minimum quantity window over here and line it up. And I do want to, actually I want to change this to minimum stock. And we'll do a little semicolon at the end. That way we understand what it is. And I want to line it up just even Steven with this one. So if we go in, we grab those two and we grab our little inspector, we can actually go into its position and we can line them up on that side. So now they're both in the same place. And if we close the window, we can separate them from our box. So now when we look at it, we'll actually see Did I do this one as a center? Nope, did not. These two should be center, and they are. This I want centered. This I want centered. This I want centered. So I'm just changing all that stuff to the center. That's all I'm doing. So we now have an add in button. And what we did is we went to set script triggers. Add quantity inventory. Enable and browse and find mode. And then we get to select a script and we say okay. So we did that perfectly. Just double checking, making sure everything is right. I do want to do the set the tab order, because the tab order, I don't like to have tab orders unless you're tabbing through things. So I like to clear them, but you can always add to them. So you can say, I want to set a tab order. So if I click on this little box, that'll be number 1, that'll be number 2, that'll be number 3, that'll be number 4, you know, whatever you want. I just like to have them clear and not even have to deal with with the tab order being anything, so that you actually physically have to go to the place if you want to actually have it. So we now have our SKU numbers. I want to put that dead smack in the center of the page. There we go. That's dead smack in the center of the page. We're going to do our find underneath of it. And now what we'll do is we will put in, we can either do barcode, entry portal, or barcode, you know, entry field, or whatever, or search, or find. As a matter of fact, I think I will do find. Barcode entry search. Let's do search. Okay. I'm going to put it right underneath there. Get it in the middle. That would be nice. Come on, you. Sometimes you actually have to press the center button to get them to work. There it goes. So we got it. So barcode entry, and then the SKU numbers, we can just we can change that to current barcode data. And we're going to put that underneath of our SKU numbers. So it looks like that. Now we do have product name, product ID. The product ID is not that big a deal, but we do want it to be in line with our. So we're going to line it up, and then we're just going to move it back over. Till we get it in the right spot. And then these, we're going to give them a little bit of space. Probably not quite that much space, but a little bit of space. Okay. This one is product name. And I want to do, I like to make these look really super good. So click off of it. I'm going to move it over so that it's like right in line. And then product category. We're going to move that over so it's right in line. And move it up, obviously, because it's like in a weird location. Let's see. I like to do it so that the line is just touching it. If you guys notice, I'm so anal at making it like, you know, perfect. So, but I do like it to where the line is just touching it. And you can change the color of this text if you want to. So if you want it to be black, you can just come up, grab it so that it's highlighted like that, and then just change it to a dark or a black color. And sometimes it's a good idea to change the color of these, or to change the font, or to change, because remember, this is a page you're going to spend a huge amount of time on. Because you're going to be adding information to this page. Now, the product ID, the product name, and the category and you're going to duplicate this page, and so don't get too lost, because we're going to duplicate the page, and in some of them they will be inventory counters, and in some of them they'll be inventory adders. So if you have a person with the iPad running around in your store and they're taking inventory and they're saying, okay, you have 61 of these instead of 65 of these, or whatever the case is, you can always put that together. But what it will do is it will set, you'll need different pages. So this will be, currently the page that we're working on is the master page. We'll just duplicate it, as you guys have seen me do in the previous videos. We'll just duplicate it, and then we'll change some of the settings for that page, so that if you're adding inventory, you'll have full access. Like if you're adding an actual product to the inventory, you'll be able to do that and not have a problem. And then we'll have some that's all they do is count. So all they do is just add the counts and put the count numbers in and stuff like that. So now the price change button is how we need to do this is we're going to have to create a log page. That's kind of the big deal here, is we'll have to create a log page. I do want to go ahead and add this to this little space right over here. I want it to be right on the money. And over here we'll add this. Okay. So what this price change is going to do for me is it's going to change base price. Is if you want to, or you need to change the price of a product, like you've went through and you've got some things and you want them to be on sale, you can use this to make them on sale, because it will change the retail value of the product, the price, and then it will send a note to it. It will send a note to our little page that says, "Hey." So we will know that it did make a change. There we go. We added those. Those are all together. Sweet. And then this is our retail price one. So we're going to grab that, and we'll just type in current price. And we're just doing this so that we can actually understand what we are doing. And I'm just trying to make sure these are all lined up, because they certainly don't look like they're lined up to me. Hello, Nadita. It's good to see you. It's very good to see you over there. We're going to line these all up on that one side. There we go. Now they are all lined up. So now we actually have all of these in there. And the retail price, you can change the color of the retail price however you want to. One of the things that you can do, which is really super cool, is you can change the price compared to the wholesale price. So like if it is below a certain number, or below a certain, if it drops below the wholesale price, then it will change red. It'll be a red price. And if you want to have, you can have, the cool thing is you can set up like variable prices. So if you have like a wholesale price, and then you can have like a base minimum price, and then you can have the retail price. So if someone does make a change to this, that what'll happen is this will turn red if it falls below, or turn yellow, or whatever color you want, orange, if it falls below that base minimum price. And that's a really simple thing to do. And I'll, as a matter of fact, I'll actually show you how to do that, so that we can actually get that going. So this will be our wholesale price, and we'll have the wholesale price and the sale price. I want to keep these kind of really close to each other. And I want them to kind of just be down here on the bottom, just kind of out of the way. Because realistically, they don't really matter to us. I mean, they do matter to us. They matter to us in a sense of a function. So if we need them for a specific function. And this one we'll put in sale price. And I probably should have put in a semicolon. No. Sale price. Semicolon. Okay. Click off of it. Bring it back over here. And this will be base wholesale. There. So now if we grab all of these writings, we can go in and we can justify them, make them all in the same, make them all line up with the same little spot, because you know me, I like everything to be just perfect. So on this retail price, what we do is you have to set what's called a conditional format. And it's pretty cool. So we'll add a condition. So if the value is between and or, so if the value is between formula is specify. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to say if the retail price is equal to or less than the wholesale price, or in this case, you could, if you had that other window that I was talking about, the minimum sale price, which you can add to that too, which would be, you know what? Let's cancel this. Let's do something really super fast. I wanna add something really fast. So I want to manage the database, and I want to create a new one, and this is going to be a calculation. So it's going to take care of its own little self. And we'll say minimum underscore MKU. And that's going to be a number, so actually it's going to be a calculation, and we'll create it. And the calculation is going to be the wholesale price times whatever your minimum, absolute minimum markup is. So in this case, I'm going to give it the parentheses, and I'm going to say 1.35. Now, what 1.35 does for me, what the 1 does for me is it adds the initial number, and that's a big thing. Nadita, it's good to see you. Yes. Hello. Welcome. So the 1.35 is going to give me a very specific number. And we'll just go ahead and we'll call that OK. And now we'll grab the field picker, and we're going to grab that minimum MKU button, and we're going to bring it over here. And like I said, we want that to be 18. Okay. And I want it to be exactly in the right spot, because I'm kind of... See if we get it to... We can get the little window thingy. There we go. Okay. So this will be minimum value. Now the minimum value doesn't necessarily have to be a minimum value, but okay. So now if we highlight all of these, we can go into our inspector and we can line them all up on that one edge and call it good. So now if we exit, and we exit. So what happens is, as you see, our base price on this product is 50 cents. The minimum value of the product is 68 cents. So the minimum price you can sell that for is 68 cents. And you can play with that number however you want. And this is, basically it's a 35% markup. So a 35%. If you go to your bubble gum, or you go to your coffee, or you go to your dog bed, you paid $20 for it. 27 is that 35% markup, right? That's the bare minimum that you can have on your product. Okay, now we do want to make this not available in browse mode. So we are going to go back into edit. We'll select our field picker, or our, not our field picker, I'm sorry, but our inspector. And on our minimum value, we do want to make absolutely positive that when we go into the data that it is not available in browse mode. Because we don't want to be able to adjust that. We want it to be, that is going to be the same over every single product that you have in your store. A minimum markup value of 35 cents, or 35 cents on the dollar. So now when we go into our retail price, and in our retail price, I double clicked it when I meant to right click it. We're going to do the conditional formatting. And the conditional formatting is, we're going to add one. And we're going to say formula is. And then we'll specify the formula. So this formula is going to be the retail price is less than or equal to, and I didn't mean to push it twice, but I did. Delete. Backspace. Okay. Is less than or equal to the, and this one is our minimum markup. And we'll say OK. And now what we want to do is we want to change the text color. We'll make the text color bold, and we'll make it red. Ta-da, text color. And now we'll say OK. And so now if we exit our layout, and we see that the current price is $28.50. But we here on this side of the field, we can change that because we're the administrator. So we're going to change it to $25. So let's just delete, and we'll just go $25, and we'll click off. And now it's like, what? Why is it? It's giving me a question mark, and I'm not sure why it's giving me a question mark. 25.00. Nope. Okay. Let's go back into our edit layout. Conditional formatting. Formula is inventory retail price is less than, oh, that's it's got to be value is less than. Boy, it's such a good thing that I messed that up, isn't it? If the value is less than and what we need is this box. So let's just do this really quick. Let's cancel this. Let's go into, let's bring up our little inspector thingy. We'll go into the data. So this one is inventory retail price. If we just highlight all of this, we Control C. Now we get off of that, get out of there. Okay. And now if we go into our conditional formatting, and we're going to get rid of this one. Delete. Add. Value is less than or equal to, and we should be able to control V. So now inventory retail price. Oh, that was the wrong one. It should be inventory minimum. I did that wrong. Dang, burned it. That's crazy. This one is the one I want. Minimum MKU. Control C. Conditional formatting. All of this just for that. Delete. Add. Value is less than or equal to. Control V. Then we want the text color to be red. And we want it to be bold. And we'll call it OK. Okay, now exit the layout. And we will double click on this. And we'll say 2650 and see if it comes up. Nope, it doesn't. Dang, burned it. Well, you can actually make it happen. I don't know what's wrong with my system today. It is actually kind of being a little funny, but edit layout. So because it shouldn't have to be stuck on a specific thing. If value is less than or equal to inventory bold text color, that should be it. It's equal to or less than. Well, I guess we will figure that out as we get to it. And then I will let you know as I get farther into it, because that's kind of got me in a little... Actually, I want to just get rid of those conditional formats, but it is something that you can do. Play with it. Just FYI, it can happen. I have a lot of mine that says if it is equal to or less than this particular field. So I'm not really sure why or what it's doing, or maybe what you need to do is go into, because I did all of mine when I was in my my base inventory page. And what I did was I said the retail price, conditional, or maybe I just set, a script trigger. And it was on like object modify or something. I don't know, but I'll double check and see how I did it, and then let you guys know in the next episode. We'll do it in the next episode. But let's just go back to where we were actually. So we're going to go back to our inventory modifier. And what we want to do is, this is, if you guys can see, or as you guys can see, what we're basically trying to do is we're trying to bring in a new set of a new way of doing things. So we want to be able to, in this button, we want to be able to, I'm going to double click on the button and we're going to call it perform. And I don't want it to do anything right now, but I do want to change it to Bookman old style, and I do want it to be 24. And what we can do is this one is our perform find button, basically is what it is. And this is our inventory button. This is where we're going to actually be able to add in a number. And then our perform find is going to tell us, it's going to find that number for us. So here we'll say enter product ID number. And we're going to put this right on top of this. Hopefully we got it kind of in the center. So there we go. Now if we exit the layout, we actually will have this enter product ID number so that we can actually enter a product ID number, and then our perform button will create it to perform a find for the product ID number. So let's do that really quick. I'm running short on time, so we'll have to quick do our perform find button, but it should be pretty simple. And we're going to tell it to perform a script. And we're going to have to add a new script to this basic field. And we're going to say inventory find ID. The more specific you are with your script names, the easier it will be for people to find your scripts. Not a good idea, but the easier it will be for you to find your scripts as well. So when you are looking for a script, or you were looking to modify a script, or looking to like put them in specific packages or files, or you're trying to organize them, it's better for you if you know what they are. It is better for you, especially in the long run. It is especially good because you could have, by the time this is done, you could have 200, 300, 400 scripts that are just little itty bitty scripts. They're not even major scripts. They're just little tiny ones. So the very first thing that we're going to want to do is we want to set a variable. And the variable is going to be that field that we did. So we're just going to call this product. And we're going to specify that as the, and we did find INV. And now what we want to do is, now that we've done that, we need to clear that field, right? So we're going to set the field. And the field that we're going to set is going to be that find inventory field, and the results are going to be the quotation marks, which will clear the field for us. And now what we want to do is we want to enter find mode, but we want to freeze the window. So the very first thing we'll do is freeze the window. We will enter find mode, and we don't need it to pause. And then what we will do is we will what is it I'm looking for? What is it I'm looking for? We'll enter find mode. We will set a field, and that field is going to be the product ID. The calculated result is going to be the S product, or the $ product. And now we want it to perform the find. And then once it performs the find, it will basically just end the script. But we do need to set, I've got my brain is going crazy today, but we do need to, what's it called? I know what I'm looking for. As a matter of fact, as soon as I find it, I'm gonna set error capture. Okay. So we're going to set the error capture on. And then we can halt the script. And let's just check this out really fast. See how this works. We'll exit the layout, and here we're on 1000, but I want to go to 1006. No criteria, cancel, continue. What if we go to no records found? Show all records. Oh, so we only go to 1005. We go to 1005. Okay, so we'll go to 1004. Perform, and it goes straight to there. Now, on the next video, I will, and as you guys know, we did it in the beginning. Remember, we did it in the beginning. So if you go to our exit window, and we did the admin button, what happens if you put in the wrong number, and how do you solve that problem, right? So if you put in the wrong number, so that you have to add that if statement, and so it'll be if 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go to the admin page. So if you do get to the if statement, or when we get to that window, we do need to add our if statement. It's in nope, it is actually an inventory modifier. So that if that field is empty, then it will take you back to the original number, to the original one, or it'll just close it or whatever. So we will work on that script next time. This time we're just kind of giving you a taste. We started lining things up. You guys can see kind of where we're going with this. So we're going to do some barcode stuff and some barcode search stuff, and so we're going to need that. We're probably going to need a perform button for that as well. I will fix this add amount button so that we can change the add amount without having too many problems in there, so that if we do 25, it will automatically do it for us, and we'll figure out how to cancel should we decide that we want to cancel on that. But until next time, hey guys, thanks for being here. So appreciate you guys being here, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Remember, this was episode 7. We will be on episode 8, and this is how much we've done. This is how much we've done. You guys can see how much we've done. We've done so very much since we started this. We've got all these things that are going on. We've got our menu pages, our invoice page. We've got so much stuff done. So stay tuned and keep track, as we will very soon be getting to some really exciting stuff. But we want to be able to make sure that we can put that inventory in first, and we can actually generate those numbers, so that when we do create a button, that we have those numbers for those buttons, and we will be able to execute everything flawlessly with a modicum of a very nice, healthy security system that works very well for us and for our employees and our help. So thank you guys very much for joining me. I will see you guys on the next episode. You guys are wonderful. Don't forget, this Thursday, there will be one more episode before the Christmas season, and then after Christmas, we'll probably have a couple then as well. But just one more before we get to Christmas, the holiday. So until next time, thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Appreciate you guys being here. You guys are amazing.